Hello, my name is Arman Khodaei. I'm a 23-year-old high-functioning autistic, and today I'm going to discuss with you exactly how I have overcome my autism for the most part. Now, I don't consider myself completely cured. As a matter of fact, I don't believe that there is a complete cure for autism, but I do believe that a lot of the traits associated with autism and the antisocial tendencies can be overcome. And so I'm going to talk about how I conquered that today. So the first thing is that one of the things that really helped out a lot is that when I was young, I was very much into G.I. Joe. So perhaps you have a child, or if you're autistic, you might be really into, say, computer games or into Pokemon or whatever the case may be. So I was really into G.I. Joe. That was my entire world, nothing but G.I. Joe. But then in 1994, we moved from California to Indiana, my family, including me. And also in 1994, they canceled the G.I. Joe television show, and then they came out with this thing called Sergeant Savage, and also during the move a lot of my toys were lost in the shuffle, and then they came out with G.I. Joe Extreme, and this G.I. Joe Extreme was not G.I. Joe. So in a way my world was destroyed, and it was so because of my world being destroyed, I was able to pull out of my world. So one thing that I recommend to parents is that if you want to reach your child and get them to like where I'm at today, there's two steps to that. First of all, try to get into the world. So if they're really into Pokemon, try to dress up as a Pokemon character. They're really into video games and they like, I don't know, Mario, dress up as Mario. Or put on a play around, make a play and try to get some of the kids to come over and have your child act in this play and interact, and maybe you want your kid to start brushing their teeth, so maybe if they're into Mario, you dress up as Mario and say you have to brush your teeth, something like that. I mean, it's not as easy as I'm making it sound, I know that, but hopefully you get the idea. The other thing is, not only do you have to try to enter the world, you have to try to also destroy their world like it was for me in 1994. Of course, that's only one part of the story here. So in 1994, I mean, not 1994, but so by destroying the world, say they're really into Hot Wheels, I recommend maybe locking up their Hot Wheels during the weekdays while they're going to school. Now, they're going to get really upset, really pissed off about that. Yeah, they're going to have huge temper tantrums. Yes, that's expected. But by pulling them away from that thing that they absolutely need, it helps them break out their autism. Also, diet. Look into the GFCF diet, gluten-free, casein-free diet. So a lot of times they're very addicted to milk or wheat products, and by pulling them out of that, that also helps. It helped in my case when I stopped having milk. I became much more, a lot of my autistic tendencies disappeared, including my temper tantrums, and I became a little bit more social, etc. Moving on. Moving on. Also in 1995 actually, in the 3rd grade, after this whole conquering, after the G.I. Joe kind of disappeared and everything out of my life, I suddenly learned how to read, and I didn't just kind of learn how to read. I couldn't read even sentences. I could read like maybe a couple of words, but I couldn't put a sentence together. But then I could read an entire book. And it just clicked for me one day. Of course, my teacher at the time, our special ed teacher, insisted that I knew how to read. She said, "You know how to read, Arman. You know how to read. You know how to read, Arman." And suddenly I was able to read. So maybe another thing I recommend is this repetition. Visualize your child being at the best place possible. Imagine your child graduating high school with their diploma, or graduating college, whatever. Imagine them driving. I drive. Imagine them having a job. Imagine them having a girlfriend that they eventually marry and have children with. Imagine that, and then say, "I know this is going to happen," because the teachers, continuously said, "I know how to read," and then one day, well, I could read, and like I said, not just baby books. I could read entire books, just like that. So continue with this. In the 8th grade, the next major step occurred. I decided to act in a school play. Now, the great thing about play, and there's this great company called Actors for Autism, and the Actors for Autism company, I was not involved in that, but what they do is they have autistic people act, and I highly recommend that, because you see, the play was sort of like a social bridge for me, because I wasn't really socializing, but I had memorized lines that involved me interacting with people. And as this practice continued, some of these people tried to talk to me and stuff. And so, in a way, they started introducing me to more people. They tried to get me to sit with them at lunch. And this kind of opened me up. And then in the 10th grade, I got on this teen advisory board for the library, and it was very empowering because they listened to my ideas. And there were a lot of people there with similar interests, and so I started to meet people with a similar interest in the library, listen to what I had to say, and I had some really big ideas for the library, and so that really empowered me. But also, on the same token, my mom pushed me, so you need to also push your child. Like one day, though of course it doesn't help if your they can't understand what you want them to do, but I started to get to that point, and my mom started to realize that. So I was like I was in a grocery store, and a student from school said, "Hi, Arman," and I just walked away as if he was nothing at all. My mom felt as if this was very rude, and I guess it was, but I didn't realize at the time. And after that, she really started getting on my case about socializing. And then in the 11th grade, I ended up actually going to community college. And then I did really well in the community college. I got into the 2-year honors study, Phi Theta Kappa, and for some reason I decided to become a historian, and that really pushed me because as the historian I was also involved in other activities because I was a pretty active member, and so my mom wanted me to push myself, and so I did various social events, which I did not like actually at all. I did not like that socializing, but it really helped me a lot. And also, by the same token, I took an interpersonal communication course, and this interpersonal communication course helped me a great deal because it made me understand the basics of communication. Also, I took a psychology course, and that gave me some other understanding into the human, about interacting and stuff. And also, I started working with my speech therapist. She taught me about eye contact and this various facial expressions and trying to understand the human body language. And so that helped a lot. And so these are some of the things that helped me get to the point I was today. I kept it short because I don't have too long to talk about it, but hopefully this information is of use to you. If you have any questions, please leave them down there because I really want to do a Q&A session at some point. Thank you, and have an extra tabulous day. Good night, or goodbye. Yeah. All right, bye.